You know that feeling, that first sip of coffee in the morning? For literally millions of us, it's this sacred ritual that just gets the day started. But what if that simple little habit is doing way more for our health than we ever thought? Well, let's get into the science behind what's really in your daily cup.
First off, let's just take a second to appreciate how massive this coffee thing really is. I mean, it's so much more than a popular drink. It's a huge part of cultures all over the globe.
So, this brings us to the big question, right? Is this daily habit of ours actually good for us? You hear all sorts of conflicting stuff, but you know what? A lot of the new research is painting a surprisingly positive picture. Could our coffee habit be a secret health boost? And to really get why this matters, just look at this number. Almost 500 billion cups of coffee are drunk worldwide every single year. When a habit is that common, you gotta know what its health impact is. It's a really big deal.
Okay, so what is the research actually telling us? Well, here's the good news. The case for coffee is looking stronger than ever. Let's break down some of the top health benefits that studies keep finding again and again.
Let's just start with a really powerful one. Get this. Studies have found that coffee drinkers are actually less likely to die from some of the leading causes of death. We're talking heart disease, stroke, diabetes, even kidney disease.
For instance, just drinking 1 to 2 cups a day might help you ward off heart failure. It's wild. And the protective effects across all these major illnesses, they show up consistently in study after study.
And it doesn't stop there. Researchers found that coffee drinkers, and this includes people who drink decaf, by the way, were 26% less likely to develop colorectal cancer. That is a significant drop in risk. The benefits even go all the way down to the cellular level. Research shows coffee drinkers tend to have healthier liver enzyme levels, and even crazier, dark roast coffee has been shown to decrease breakage in your DNA strands. That's a huge deal, because that damage can lead to some really serious problems. So it's not just about your body. Your brain gets a pretty nice boost too. Let's see how.
The research has found some really strong links between drinking coffee and having a lower risk of developing conditions like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. In fact, one study found that women over 65 who drank 2 to 3 cups a day were less likely to develop dementia in general. Pretty incredible, right?
So what is going on inside that little coffee bean that's causing all these amazing effects? Well, it's not just the caffeine. The story is actually way more complex and, honestly, way more interesting. See, coffee is this incredibly complex mix of stuff. It's absolutely packed with antioxidants and other active compounds that actually reduce inflammation inside your body and protect you against disease. Caffeine is just one little piece of a very big puzzle. So let me introduce you to the unsung hero of your morning brew, chlorogenic acids, or CGAs. These things are super powerful compounds, and they play a huge role in a ton of coffee's protective effects, especially when it comes to fighting inflammation and regulating your blood sugar. Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Studies show that if you take caffeine all by itself, it can actually make it a bit harder for your body to process sugar right after a meal. But, and this is a big but, when you drink the whole coffee with all its other compounds, especially those CGAs, they seem to cancel out that negative effect. The end result is a net positive that helps you process sugar better and lowers your risk of type 2 diabetes over time. Of course, there's always a catch, right? You can definitely have too much of a good thing. So what's the sweet spot? How much coffee gives you all the benefits without any of the drawbacks?
Well, according to the dietary guidelines for Americans, the optimal zone for most of us is right here in the middle, 3 to 5 cups a day. That amount, which is usually under 400 milligrams of caffeine, seems to be where you get the most bang for your buck, health-wise.
But if you go beyond that optimal zone, well, you probably know the feeling. You might start feeling jittery, a little anxious, maybe your heart's racing, or you have trouble sleeping. Everyone's different, but those are definitely signs you might be overdoing it. And it's not just about how much you drink, but how you drink it. A couple of simple little changes can make sure your coffee habit stays a healthy one. If you're loading your cup up with tons of cream and sugar, you can pretty much cancel out all those great health benefits. So instead, maybe try just a splash of milk or a milk substitute. And if you want more flavor without sugar, things like cinnamon or a little dash of unsweetened cocoa powder are fantastic healthy options. So, when you put it all together, what's the big takeaway from all this research? Well, it might just be that your daily cup of coffee is one of the healthiest things you do all day. Now, it's really important to keep this in perspective. Coffee is not a magic bullet.
It's not a substitute for a healthy diet or getting exercise. Think of it more like a powerful supplement, in addition to an already healthy lifestyle.
And I think this quote from Johns Hopkins Medicine just says it perfectly. It's not the foundation of your health, but it is a delightful addition that just happens to come with a surprising number of real science-backed benefits.
And that leaves us with a great final thought. You know, in a world where so many healthy habits feel like a chore, isn't it kind of wonderful to think that this simple, enjoyable ritual could actually be one of the best things you do for yourself every day? Something to think about over your next cup.